Hi, my name is Keon Thomas.
My name is Casey Rockamore.
My name is Xavier Hill.
And I'm Justin Cook.
And we are BrickHouseCapital Management, and this is our Portfolio 2 report. To start off, iRobot Corporation has had a very impressive week this past week. On the 22nd of February, iRobot closed at $120.50, beating last week's close, which was $119.39. iRobot Corporation also is our best performing company going into week 3. They have made our market value increase and has been the most profitable company in our portfolio, bringing in $1,367,950.98 in total profits. In last week's portfolio report, we said that their positive 10K report can be assumed to be the main determinant to iRobot's growth, and we see that coming into full effect as the weeks go on.
The next company in our portfolio is Apple Incorporated. So we're satisfied with Apple's performance at the end of week 2. We bought them at $171.19 and they closed at $172.97. Not too much fluctuation. Apple is a very stable company. We're just going to keep a close look at Apple as the weeks go on. At the end of week 2, they brought in $80,000 worth of profit going into week 3. So we're very satisfied with their performance.
As for Accenture, Accenture's actually closed at another high, well, compared to last week at $161.50 as of February 22nd. Accenture right now was working in the actual healthcare services, specifically healthcare analytics, and just got recognized as being a leader in the industry. They're also working with the Federal Reserve specifically, trying to work and tailor their technology to be a little bit more efficient. With Stryker, their last closing price was $188.67. They were just, it's kind of similar to last week's, not too much fluctuation, still on the rise, and they're seeing some bullish sentiments. For Broadcom, the last actually closed price was $276.50. Unfortunately, it lowered down, it went down just a little bit from last week. However, we're still positive. It's considered a cheap stock right now, a good buy. It's just for how long the company actually just doesn't have the stability to be able to, in our opinion, to really keep on growing as well as it is. Lastly, with NVIDIA, it's actually closed at $159.19, and with this class action lawsuit still going on, we're still up in the air what we're going to do with it.
One of the new companies we bought was Sprouts Farmers Market Incorporated, and we acquired Sprouts on February 22nd at $23.72, and it closed at $23.48 on Friday. Sprouts surprised many people with their fourth quarter earnings report, up 5.6%. And despite reporting better than expected results, the shares fell 3.5% during the trading session on February 21st. Expecting Sprouts to rise from this, and we feel like we're very optimistic about Sprouts' opportunity for growth because of how well they turned in the report last quarter.
Moving on to Procter & Gamble, they also had a nice week of progression. Their stock price has only dropped down in the 98s twice this week, but it has not dropped below the last week closing, which was 98.48. This week on the 22nd of February, Procter & Gamble closed at 125. Procter & Gamble released a report on Thursday stating their position to support worldwide ban on cosmetic animal testing, along with joining the Humane Society's international Be Cruelty-Free campaign. We see this as not only the ethical thing to do and support, but also a good business tactic to draw the attention of environmentalists and animal activists. BrickHouseCapital Management also has a positive outlook on Procter & Gamble, and we are confident that Procter & Gamble will continue to gain market share while raising prices to increase company margins.
So the next company I'll be talking about is Becton, Dickinson & Co. So we're satisfied with this company's performance. They brought in $80,000 worth of profit going into week 3. Not too much fluctuation with the stock price, only up about $1 from last week's closing. It's closed at $249.66. Like we said in Portfolio 1, we're looking forward to the 8th Annual Global Healthcare Conference on February 28th, where we feel like Becton, Dickinson & Co. can potentially impress potential investors and shareholders, solidify a positive, optimistic growth, finishing quarter 1 and going into quarter 2 this year. So we'll be waiting for that conference on the 28th.
Another new company that we bought was Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. We acquired Goodyear on February 22nd at $19.25, and it closed at $19.35. The Goodyear Tire and Rubber will replace Wabtec in the S&P Mid-Cap 400 on Wednesday, February 27th. Goodyear will be more representative of the mid-cap market space. Once this change happens, we think that this will increase the growth over the next few months.
Moving on to Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. BrickHouseCapital Management is satisfied with Six Flags' performance at the end of week 2. They have brought in nearly $10,000 in profits, and their amusement parks aren't even open yet. On the 15th of February, Six Flags closed at $54.74, and now their stock price has closed at $57.12 on the 22nd of February. Their stock prices have been on a fluctuating rise, and we are confident that this trend will continue when their parks open next month, considering that they are the largest amusement park company in the world.
And now for Johnson & Johnson, like I said, not too much fluctuation with this stock also. Just a $2 increase over the week. Shares fell at 1.4% during the week. They're also being investigated by the SEC for putting abstationals in their baby powder products. So we're going to take a close look at this investigation and also investigate their stock price over this investigation period. So that's what's going on with Johnson & Johnson currently.
Another company that we acquired on Friday was Walker & Dunlap. We acquired it at $56.85, and it closed at $57.58. Walker & Dunlap announced on Friday that it will acquire a property called Belmead Farm Apartments, and it bought those apartments for $45,337,000. And the origination team rate locked a 10-year fixed rate loan just one day after the application was submitted. And we feel like this new property will give Walker & Dunlap a lot of room for potential growth in the next coming months.
BrickHouseCapital Management is also satisfied with Sony's Corporation's performance at the end of week 2. They have brought in nearly $900,000 in profits going into week 3. On the 15th of February, they closed at $45.79, and now their stock price has risen to $47.89. The company remains in a strong position in its existing secular growth areas. It has promising new lines that could become substantial growth drivers in the future, and we feel that the company continues to remain a strong long-term investment.
For the next company, NXP Semiconductors, we acquired them on the 22nd at $95.23. They closed out at $94.51. Over this past week, about 3.5 million shares traded. The company has declined 33.99% since February 24th, 2018. It's downward trending and it's underperformed the S&P 500 by 33.99%. So we see this as an opportunity to get in while the company is down so we can get that upward trend and increase margins here at BrickHouseCapital Management.
Another new company that we bought was Starbucks. We acquired Starbucks on the 22nd of February at $71.22, and it closed at $71.30. Recently, Starbucks has been facing a lot of fears. They just expanded. They did a big expansion into China, and they feared how they would be received over there. And they also fear a lot of saturation in the U.S. markets. But the fears have been shot down over the past few weeks, due in part to the store sales accelerating 4%, which is 2% better than the last quarter.
Moving on to Caterpillar. BrickHouseCapital Management is satisfied with Caterpillar Incorporated's performance at the end of week 2. They have brought in nearly $700,000 in profits going into week 3. And on the 15th of February, they closed out $136.20, and now they're up to $138.68. And remember that we first bought CAT for $128.10, and we already see a $10.58 stock price increase in only 2 weeks. With the increase of construction projects and companies relocating company headquarters in and out of major cities, we see the potential for this trend to continue as weeks go on.
The next company we have is Centity Corporation. We acquired them on the 22nd at $64.01, and they closed at $64.01. So the major thing about this company, they just formed a social health bridge trust to help community-based organizations and healthcare entities work more effectively to address social determinants of health. So with this corporation, we've seen a lot of factors with them that might help their stock price go up. You know, building this trust around communities, getting their name more out there. We see a sharp increase ending Q1, and also we see a position to get in right now, so if we can see margins in Q2.
Now moving on to companies that we have sold. We have sold Spirit Airlines. We have sold Canopy Growth Corporation, Electronic Arts Incorporated, the Coca-Cola Incorporated, and also we have recently bought AutoZone, but we are selling them this week. That wraps up our Portfolio 2 report. We hope you enjoyed. We are still leading going into week 3, and we have a positive outlook on our portfolio moving on. Again, this is BrickHouse Capital Management, and we're going to continue to be BrickHouse Capital Management.
Because we're solidified.
We're solidified.